Every time we ponder a thought, act on impulse, or dwell in a desire, we are setting in motion a cause that will have future effects. Mindfulness enables us to choose wisely. And that's a quote by Tamara Levitt. And I picked that quote because my guest today, Jessica McKnight, is the queen of mindfulness. And I can't wait to share her with you and share her with myself. Before I jump in and introduce you to Miss Jessica, I want to thank you for subscribing, sharing this with your friends. I'm both on YouTube and all the podcast places, so you can't miss me. All right, so Jessica McKnight is an award-winning luxury photographer with a boutique studio in St. Petersburg, Florida, and she has over 25 years of experience in the industry. I've been there, Jessica. What a cool city.
Thank
Uh,
you. And thank you for
yeah,
having me on. I really appreciate
you're
it.
you're welcome. So she's the founder of brilliancekey.com, where she blends deep mindset work with strategic coaching to help creative entrepreneurs grow with clarity and confidence. Love that. And she is the creator of Beyond Brilliant Photography Retreats, transformative high level experiences designed to reignite passion and purpose. And she loves to empower others to build authentic, thriving businesses rooted in joy and impact. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Me
So
too.
excited about this talk.
Yes, well, people that listen know I love to talk and I love to make new friends. So it's a happy day. Kate
Yes.
Scanlon is the one that said, "Oh my gosh, you need to get Jessica on the show. She's going to be on my show in the future." And she said, Jess, that it was the best workshop she's ever been to in her life. So um, tell me a little about what that is, just so people are like, oh, I wonder what that is about.
So I felt that for a very long time that there was components that was missing from the retreat industry, and specifically one of those was mindset.
Mm,
Um, our industry is a very heavy industry, right? We have a lot of things on our plate we have to do, which is we have to balance all the administrative things. We have to be the marketer. There's just so much involved. And then on top of that, people don't understand what we do. And then we're also in kind of a heavy industry on the other side where we have people that pretend to be better than what they are. There's this
mm,
imposter syndrome. There's all of this like gatekeeping and competition, and there's just like this tenseness. And sometimes there's not that community that we want that's centered around this positivity and this um, mindset that we need abundance, we need happiness, we need joy in our lives. So um, that is kind of how I started with making the Beyond Brilliant Photography Retreat. So there's components in it, which is daily yoga, there's meditation, there's mindset talks where we can be really authentic with one another and talk about the things that bother us in the industry, but also lift each other up, come up with tools and solutions and ways to actually to combat those things and also live a very joyful, happy life while we're working. Um, One of the things that I know for, to be a fact that our business can only be as good as we are, right? We are our
mm.
business. So if we're not happy, if our mindset isn't in a good place, then we certainly can't like run a good business. If we're always like in this negative space in our head, or let's say in like a scarcity mindset,
Mhm.
that's going to fall over into every single thing that we do in our business. So that's kind of why I developed that.
So you kind of answered my question number two already, which is awesome. So my first question, I just want to quickie share on how you got started in photography or in the photography business. We don't need to
Oh my
hear if your dad got you a new camera or
God.
but I'd love to just hear a little bit of inspiration of because we all start with a dream And so what
Yeah.
was yours, or how did that unfold?
I actually started in sixth grade, and I was put in kind of like a program for at-risk youth. Not that I was not a bad kid. I just had I was having a lot of trouble at home. There was a lot of things going on in my home life that, they kind of sought me out and was like, here are some different things that we can help you to kind of like alleviate your stress and help you kind of focus your energy. So it started off with some writing stuff and there was some poetry. And then they were like, well, what about this? And they put a camera in my hand. And I just absolutely fell in love. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And I was able to really, take all of that negativity and all of that pain that I was going through and put it in through my camera. And so I won like my first competition in seventh grade, and I absolutely loved it. But as the years went on and I became an adult, I was like, I can't make a living off of doing photography. But it wasn't until I had my daughter that I was like, and I took a trip to New York, and I remember just going through a photography gallery, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know why I'm putting my dreams on hold. I love this. Like, I love what
Mm,
I'm doing, and there's got to be a way to make it work, right? And as a mother, I wanted to spend time with my children, and I think that's a lot of people's story. They want to spend time with their family, they want to be around their family, and that's kind of how it started. It was a good 10 years of like fumbling
mhm,
before I really start seeing the pieces fall in place and then like, continuing education and seeking out mentors and those sort of things. And then I really just saw my business just go crazy. It just blossomed and I was like making insane money where I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then I was like, I really want to teach this to other people too. I
mm,
want them to feel that joy.
yeah,
That's how I got started in photography and my business kind of grew with it.
I love it. I love it. And mine, not that this is about me, but I I found myself unemployed. And so I had to hustle right away because I didn't have a spouse. I assume maybe you had other sources of income. So desperation made it happen pretty fast. But I love that you had your path and your journey. And then when it was time for you to just explode, uh,
Well,
seems to
I
be,
do want to say yeah, I mean, I really didn't actually. I was a single mother, so I also worked another job while I
ah,
was making all of that happen. So I
yeah,
did have to hustle as well, and I did have to struggle. Um, And I think that's also part of why, and probably you as well, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's a part of why I also became a coach. I really didn't want people to have to do that struggle. If you are, a single parent or you're having, like, a difficult time and you want to make a go at this, the quickest way is from A to B is somebody who's already done it. They've
yes,
already been there. They can share with you those experiences and help you, start to make money without that crazy hustle.
yes. And I'm an empath. So I realized when someone else is successful, it feels like I am. So it's kind of selfish in a really positive way because for some reason, other people's joy and feelings and success, I, um, you know, I'm guessing it's not dissimilar for you, but it brings a gratification that's different than when I'm having my own success, which I also love. So I'm going to ask you question number one to just make sure we got the clarity, and it's to define mindset. You've told us some about why, but what do you mean by mindset?
So, mindset is a set of beliefs around attitudes that help shape um, the way you perceive yourself and your abilities. That's by definition.
Mm,
Mindfulness is the act of being in the moment, of being able to allow feelings to come and go and to actually be in the moment. And so there's all kinds of mindfulness activities that we can be involved in and mindful tools that we can use to help ourselves. So, mindset and mindfulness, kind of going hand in hand. But mindset is what we believe about ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. And so
Mhm.
that's why it's really important if we're running a business to have a positive mindset, not just about our business, but about who we are. Because if we are positive about who we are and what our abilities are and where we're going, that's going to overflow into everything that we do. It's going to overflow and our clients will feel it, and it will, and it's so funny. This actually came in my email this morning. We were kind of talking a little bit before we started, and how things that I love, people that I listen to, and Mind Valley is one of them. And one of the things that came in today that I thought was really interesting, and this kind of goes around the mindset of scarcity and abundance. And it
Mm.
was really talking about how letting go helps us to achieve more, right? When we're
Okay, hold on.
operating from this place.
Okay, I want to put a
Sure,
pin
sure.
in that. Letting go
Uh-huh.
helps us a- achieve more. Wait, what did
Well,
you say that again?
letting go, letting go
Uh-huh.
helps us achieve more.
More. Got to sit with that for a sec. Okay, explain that. Letting go helps us achieve more.
So when we are operating from a place of scarcity, when we're afraid, when we are like, oh my gosh, I gotta make this happen, I gotta make this happen, we start to get into a mode, right? A mindset where we start to chase things. And
Mm,
we're chasing, overworking, we're doing too much, and
yes.
we're like frantic, right? We're frantic. So now we're not manifesting, we're manipulating, right? We're trying to
Mm,
make it work for us. And we're really pushing hard. We're pushing hard. We're pushing hard. And it makes us grumpy. It makes us tired. It makes us like, this is never going to work. And then we keep feeding that to ourselves, right? We keep saying to ourselves over and over and over, this almost like the law of attraction, right? We're attracting
mm,
what we put out. And so, but if we actually release a little bit, right, and go, you know what? I'm going to take some time to slow down. That gives us clarity. It allows us to be able to set intentions for our day. It allows us to operate from a place of like abundance, like it's going to come to me. And that's basically what clarity is. Like if you have the clarity to be able to say, okay, today I'm going to set the intention of I'm going to do A, B, C, and D, and you do it from a place of calmness and you do it from a place of like feeling happy, the more you feed that to yourself, the more it's going to grow and blossom and bloom. And this is actually science, right? Like
mhm.
this is cognitive behavioral therapy. They use visualization when you go to a therapist. Um, Positive thinking. So all of those things will, like, if you're incorporating those in your daily life, they're going to continue to grow. Like it,
Mhm.
and that's also why I want to, to build my coaching and my retreats around those things. I wanted people to stop that rat race, to stop that chasing, 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 and start living from a place of like, I'm going to set good intentions for myself. I'm going to
Mhm.
wake up and feel happier. I'm not going to, you know, continue to work myself to death, right? Because nobody needs to really do that. We think we do, but we really don't, right?
Right.
Because the harder we work, the more we're draining ourselves, the less we can actually give. We're not able to be, and we're not joyful. We're not happy. We're just miserable and we have to practice this every day
Mhm.
because if we let it slip away, it's like exercising. If we let it slip away, then we don't, it stops working. I recently had this happen to me. Actually, Kate Scaglione, the person who referred, me to you. Um, I'm glad that I had her in my circle, right? I'm glad I built that community of women who are supporting one another because she came back to me. She's like, you're slipping into that mindset, release yourself again, surrender and release yourself and stop worrying. Um, Oddly enough, I Google recently just canceled 39 million people, right? Their listings, their Google listings. And it really like instantly I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Like I can't like nobody's gonna find me. And with my, I should know better, right? I should know better because I know that I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I've diversified my marketing. I've put all, I have lots and lots of what I would call roots that I've put out into the world that is gonna, but my mind just instantly went into this panic mode.
Mhm.
And we have to work on that every day. When we have negative thoughts come up, stop them and ask ourselves, like, is this really true? Is my business that I've had for almost 30 years, is it really going to fall into the hole? Am I gonna like,
Mhm.
we feed ourselves a lot of negative. Um, it's there for a reason, which is good. Like negative thoughts are to help propel us to do things, right? They're like little red flags that say, hey, you need to still work on these things, but they don't need to, we don't need to downward spiral into this. We
Right.
can actually take full of those thoughts and ask ourselves, you sit with them. And
Mhm.
that's why it's important to like take that time to center ourselves, to have those tools in place. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. The secrets to the universe. I love
Yeah.
that the expression what you focus on expands. That I think that encapsulates some of what you just shared. And like when we're like, oh, nobody's gonna this, nobody's gonna that, then of course nobody does. And
Right.
I keep little flashcards around my house. My favorite is Money Comes to Me Easily and with Love. And I've told this story many times on the podcast about a time when there was there were many more great photographers than there were brides. And I kept trying to book, and I got in what you're talking about, that anxious, grippy, work harder. And then I don't know if I went to retreat, talked to, I don't know where this dawned on me, but I got that mantra, money comes to me easily and with love. And I just started repeating it. And then it lifted my vibration instead of what, I don't know if you've heard the term commission breath. Have you heard that term? And it's where, if we need the money and we're trying, it is off-putting for people that might love to work with us. And so what happened was I booked four perfect bridal clients that week. Just the only thing I did differently was what you're talking about, changing my mindset and having a tool that helped calm that. I guess it's the vagus nerve, not Las Vegas, but whatever is that nerve that creates feelings.
Yes.
And I think I probably became more focused on the with love at that point. So yeah, I love that. So I'm wondering if there's like two activities or tools that you can recommend that people do, because of course it's great to be like, I need to be mindful. But when I really need to be mindful is when I can't just be like, okay, Lucy, this is what you need. Snap out of it. So do you have maybe uh, I'll, I'll let you pick. I'm sure you've got a million of them, but maybe something that is just a regular habit, and then maybe something, um, I don't know. You go and I'll stop babbling.
Um, Actually, it's so funny. I have a whole list right in front of me. I have a whole list right on my board that's in front of me that they're little reminders for myself.
Mhm.
One of the things that I love, and I do this with all of my coaching clients, and it's really important for me, is that we always start with an attitude of gratitude, and we always start with talking about something that we're grateful for, right? Because when we can start with whether it's a session, but most importantly, our day, right? If we can start our day with saying, you know what, I'm really grateful for, and just start listing them off and allow yourself to just continue to list them. Let them keep going. Give yourself an allotted amount of time, maybe 5 minutes every morning just to like, sit in bed or maybe get up and enjoy your morning coffee or tea and just talk to yourself about what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for another day. I'm grateful for the skills to have, a business that I can run. I'm grateful to be gifted in what I do. I'm grateful for the family that I have. We often forget all the things that we actually have in our life. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the fact that I know I have food in my refrigerator. I'm grateful for the fact I have clean water. Um, I'm grateful for this opportunity with you. I'm grateful for every single person that is going to hear this podcast. And I hope that it makes a profound difference. I hope they have an opportunity to think differently when they're done hearing it. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful for a platform that I can speak. So gratitude will take you so, so far. Setting your day with like having an intention for your day.
Mm.
So important. Today I'm going to be productive. I'm going to finish A and C, right? I'm going to be positive today. I'm not going to let the world and the distractions out there get me down or bring me down. I'm going to remain joyful. I'm going to love all of the opportunities that fall into my lap, right? So if we set our day with intention, we're already saying, listen, nothing that comes my way is going to destroy me, right? I'm going to have a beautiful day. It's going to be amazing, and I'm actually going to get so much done. And everything that I do is building me up for things that are going to happen in my future.
Okay, two things.
Another,
Hold on.
go ahead.
So, step number one, gratitude. Step number two, set your intentions. Now,
Mhm.
how does somebody combat if they're a natural, we'll say Eeyore? Yeah, but, like I'm going to be this. Yeah, but, you know, it's cloudy or yeah, but like how do you combat the Eeyore inside of you when you're setting those intentions?
So, as our thoughts come to us, and they will, this is a practice, right? This is again that like almost like muscle memory, working out that arm with when you're lifting weights. Whenever you have a negative thought that comes to you, it's learning to recognize it, right? Sit with it for a minute and like, okay, is this true? Is this not true? What is it telling me? And then when you get that thought, go through those questions and then you say to yourself, what is it telling me? How can I make this different? And feed it something positive. Now, the more you do that, the more that brain will train to start
Mm,
recognizing negative thought. This is a negative thought. And if we continue to do it, and actually, what I found, and I do it a lot in the car, when I'm driving, I'm like, nope, that's a negative thought. I say it out loud, and
mhm,
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let you, I'm not gonna let you ruin my day. What are you trying to tell me? What do I need to fix? And here's what I'm gonna tell you instead. Like
mm,
today is gonna be absolutely perfect.
I love it.
Um, yeah, and visualizing, right? So I can do this in the
Mm,
shower. I try to like nobody's going to be in the shower. It's my time to myself. I love to visualize like my future self and what that looks like.
hmm
But this thought just came to me before I let it slip away, which I think is really important. Um, a lot of times when we're visualizing our future self, we have attached our happiness to
mm,
our goals. Have you ever
mm.
heard that? I'll be happy
Yes,
when, I'll be happy when.
right.
Detaching your happiness and your joy from anything that you may achieve in your life. Look, it's very good to have goals, and goals can bring you happiness. But being happy no matter where you're at, what's going on, and finding joy in everything that you're doing is so important. It's like that. I'll be happy when I'm thinner. I'll be happy when, I graduate. I'll be like be happy now.
Hmm
Right. So when you're visualizing your future self or any of the steps that go toward that, always visualize yourself happy. Visualize yourself being joyful. Visualize good people around you, you know? So
hmm
I think that's really important that we learn to also not attach our happiness to. Actually, Lindsay Adler, when she was at my retreat in Costa Rica, um, I didn't think about it then, but I thought about it later. She just said one little sentence that I thought was so profound. And it was later I was like, she doesn't even realize how profound that really is. I mean, in that moment, it was just like, general conversation and in
Right.
terms of like she was teaching a class and she said, because she started her photography business, I think she said when she was 15, I don't know the exact age, but she said she really didn't have imposter syndrome. She just believed that she could. And
Hmm.
it goes to that little saying that you see on runners' bracelets or like people like weightlifters' bracelets or, whatever. She believed that she could, so she did,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
That statement is so profound, right? And it's so profound even in now. Like, if we just believe that we can do it, we can. We stop ourselves, right? We stop ourselves with all this negative talk. Like, I'm not good enough.
Mhm.
I'm not that, I can't live up to so and so. And that's the other thing we do is like, especially with syndrome, like, I can't live up to whatever this person is. Well, how do we even know that person's even living up to themselves? We don't know what the real story is. There's a lot of
Right.
people that go around saying who they are, and they're really not. Like, live up to you. Live up to your best expectation of yourself. Don't try to live up to what everybody else is doing. Like, create art and be happy where you're at in the moment, right? And
Mhm.
I think a lot of people also expect their work to look like somebody and they forget where they started. They're not even looking at the glow up. They're not looking at where they were 5 years ago or 5 months ago, So
Right. Right.
um
So let me ask
yeah.
you, is the visualize, I know life is not really a set of steps, but
Mhm.
starting the day with gratitude, setting intention, is visualizing a part of intention or is it a third step in your mind?
I would say it's another step.
Okay, so number
Definitely. I
three, focus, paint those mental pictures of where you want to be um, and don't look at pictures of, I love the expression, don't compare our insides with someone's outsides.
Yeah.
And also something else that you mentioned got me thinking about the challenges when there are people around us who are negative that say, oh, you can't do that. Like when I started, I don't know about you, but when I started, people said, oh, it's too competitive being a photographer. And also in when I started, they were like, and especially for a woman, you can't really be successful in this industry. It's a man's industry. And I was like, you know what? I know in here that I can do this thing. I have confidence. So that's the value of having friends who are cheerleaders, coaches, groups, going to professional events, um, being around that positivity. Would you agree with that, that it's important to be surrounded with encouraging uh, people and learning the potentials too, seeing what other people have done that started like you and I with a dream and a camera.
Absolutely. And actually, I believe that what we feed our mind with
Hmm.
will ultimately, like, we're consuming this, right? So it's going to stay in our mind. We think about those things. I found that when I'm like riding my bike, when I'm trying to do a mindful activity, being in the moment, I love to listen to Ram Dass. I
Hmm.
love to listen to like the guided meditations that he has, and they're just so beautiful. And they really, there's one that is called, around the fire, and it's a very beautiful moving visualization of everybody, basically, we're all around the fire, the campfire, and we're all here for each other. We're going to rally for each other, and at the end, like, that's really just what we're all doing, right? We're all just here for each other. So it's a very beautiful piece. I love listening
Mm,
to it. It's very powerful. When I find that I'm in a dark spot or like I'm really struggling with whatever it is, it's a go-to for me.
mm,
I really, really love it. And it really helps me with visualizing some really powerful things. So guided meditations are really great. Sometimes I take
mm.
my cell phone and I put it right outside the shower or I use my Bluetooth and I'll listen to like a guided 5 minute meditation in the shower.
Mhm.
Sometimes, a 10-minute meditation in the shower. Even while I'm washing my hair, I'm visualizing. So if you're not good at visualizing, you can use that as a tool as well. But it's really nice. It's really good to just kind of set your day with something positive and try to, and if you find that you're going throughout the day and things are just starting to go downhill or you're having a particularly heavy day for whatever reason, because life is life, you can put another guided meditation on, or maybe listen to, something that's empowering, something that's going to lift you up. So, but again, I really do think that, and which is again why I built the Beyond Brilliant photography retreats. I think one of the things that I love about it so much is that we have a WhatsApp group that we have so that we can coordinate, like what classes you're going to, when a bus is leaving for, whatever. Um, that was put together, I think, in like November or December of last year, and these girls are still talking to each other,
Oh, that's great.
and I
Yeah,
love it. I see them on each other's Facebook page, like, oh, I'm so happy for you and congratulations. And you could just, they're there for each other. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that I really hope grows. And no matter if somebody comes to the retreat or not, just find people that are going to be on your team and you be there for them as well.
right. Okay, so I heard actually a number four and number five in there. Four is watch what you consume and
Yep.
bring in things that are going to be encouraging, uplifting, help support that muscle. I love you said the muscle in the brain that creates habits that are good for us, healthy for us. Um, and I was thinking, I've slipped into uh, looking at my phone too much. Again, I even had a dream I was on on my cell phone or my iPad. That is ridiculous. um, so using our technology for good, having a healthy relationship with our technology because it's all there. So it's like a giant buffet, and we can eat the Fruit Loops or we can eat the beautiful fruit salad. We're at choice. And then number five, what I heard is become a part of a community where you're supporting each other and growing and
Yeah.
learning. And I love that. Um, yeah,
I think
these
a
things
little
are
bit of mine.
so doable. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I also think when you're talking about the phone, and I think that's a really good point of, and like, we should also take some time to put our phones down, right? Maybe do some activities that will actually engulf you in the moment, right? You have to be present to do it, right? Things that like roller skating, rock climbing,
Mhm.
taking a walk, or going down to the beach, putting your feet in the sand, something where you allow yourself to actually be in the moment and
Mm,
also giving ourselves much needed breaks, right? We can be positive all day long. It's so important for us to listen to our body, to listen to our mind when we're pushing ourselves too far. I recently just had that myself. I have to practice what I preach as well. I literally just was like, you know what? I've had enough. Like I've been working very hard and now it's time for a break. So I just scheduled tomorrow. I'm going to go get a facial. I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to take the whole day off. The phone is going to be completely
yippee.
turned off. Yeah, and I'm just going to give myself a break because we deserve it and we need it. And I think it's really important that we honor ourselves, that we love ourselves, that we gift ourselves happiness and just take a break from everything. We have really tough jobs, we really do. We have a lot of responsibility on our plate, and we are notorious for burnout.
Oh, yes.
And we're yeah, we're also not designed to create on demand. Like artists are supposed to create when it flows from them. Like we're
Mm,
really not supposed to be like creating on demand.
uh-huh.
And I think people forget that. We like having to come up. nonstop with creative new ideas. Like, have you ever like started to get in that rut where you're creating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? It's because we have to allow ourselves a break. We have to give ourselves time so our brain can actually think of new, fresh ideas. When we actually put everything down and just give ourselves a mental break, then we can come back with the ability to be better than we were before.
Oh, good. Uh, many years ago, I went to a 12-step group called Workaholics Anonymous. And what I discovered is it wasn't the things I needed to add to my life that made the difference. No, wait, it wasn't things I needed to take away. Sorry, said that wrong. It was things I needed to add to my life. All the things that you're talking about. Take days off, get massages, go for walks or hikes, or uh, read inspirational books. Like, add those things in a committed, scheduled way. And then what happened is, then I was forced to work smarter, not harder. And then I actually had a more solid business and much more income when I took those principles that you're talking about right now and made them happen. Because if in my calendar I'm taking 2 solid days off, then that means, and yeah, and okay, I'm about to sneeze, I think. But anyway, if I have less time, then the time I spend has to be productive. And just like people going on vacation, I imagine most people listening that have done this realize how much you can get done before a trip because you have to, that if you weren't going anywhere, it would take you twice as long. Do you know what I mean?
There's a law, and I just heard it the other day, and the name of it is totally slipping my mind, but the basic principle of it is that if we have 10 hours to do work, right, we'll take the whole 10 hours to do the work. If we have 4 hours to do the work, we'll finish it in 4 hours. So that being said, like time work expands with the amount of time that we give it, right? That we give it to do. So I think in that, like, if we also honor ourselves in the way that, in running a business where, like, you know what, I have hours, my doors open at 9 o'clock, or my phone gets turned on at 9 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock, I'm done taking calls, right? We as photographers, as business owners, we are, we want to please everybody. We don't want to lose the business. We want to be there all the time. So the phone's on all the time. And we just find that, like, slip, 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 as in, like, we're slipping our boundaries, and we're not running our business like a business. And actually, what happens is people lose respect for you, and they really will just do
Right.
whatever. They'll call you whenever, they'll text you at midnight, but they do respect you more when you are actually putting your boundaries in place for yourself, and you run your business like a business. And like you said, if you honor yourself and respect your boundaries for yourself and say, you know what, I deserve to have time for myself.
Mhm.
I hard and I deserve to have a life like everyone else. And when I'm done today, I'm going to kick back and relax, or I'm going to go to the beach for a walk. I say that because I'm in Florida. Or I'm going to go on a mountainous trail, wherever you live. Just do something for yourself, enjoy the life that you have. It's such a gift. And I think that's another thing that we often,
So I had to sneeze in the middle, Jessica, of what you were saying. So
uh-huh.
can you refresh that thought?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really important that we take time for ourselves,
Yeah.
that we enjoy the life that we have. And, it kind of just took me off on a tangent there when we were, a thought that life is very, very precious. Sometimes some of us
Oh,
don't realize it until something happens in our family, or something's, just it seize every opportunity you have to enjoy this precious, beautiful life that we have, right? There's we should be instead of focusing on the negative and focusing on like all of the, oh my gosh, what if, what if, what if, again, it's that slow down, take that clarity, have time to be like appreciative. And you will be so amazed at how much your business will grow when you do that. And honestly, when I'm in the positive mindset, when I'm in practicing gratitude, practicing reframing my negative thoughts, practicing, and this just happened, like I said, with the Google ads. I was in like this down, like, oh my God, oh, I was freaking out. And I was like, okay, girlfriend, like, stop it. Like, you have to practice what you preach, right? I'm human. We're all human. That's something that we also have to remember. Let's go through these steps. Let's look at some things, some tools that we have in our shed to be, and what I realized was, guess what? It's not bad. It's not that bad. I have a lot of things I've put in place for myself. And after I was like, you know what? I'm happy. I'm gonna do these things today. I took a break and literally, I'm not kidding you, this is actually hilarious. I came back to my email and they're like, "We've approved your appeal," right? So it took time. It took
Mhm.
time. Did it take multiple attempts? Yes, but it wasn't the end. It wasn't the end,
Right.
right? So, uh, and I think that's what we have to focus on is that sometimes we also have to be patient for things. We also have to just, you know, use those tools that we have to center ourselves to feel better and just know that things will fall into place, but they'll fall into place quicker when we stop the frazzle, when we stop the rat race.
What this brings to mind, or okay, how can I say this? One of the side benefits of everything you're talking about is if we get in those habits when, life is always a little rocky, but when we're not like in a crisis, then those things, those habits at times, because we're all going to have some kind of dramatic crisis in our life. So if those are our habits, then they're like this soft cushion and solid ground at the same time under us. Example in my life is that 14 years ago, gosh, we're at 15 now, we discovered a very large benign tumor in my sinus, filling my cheek, filling in here. And I didn't realize, and it was a 4 year ordeal because the first less invasive surgeries couldn't handle it completely. Eventually, I had to have brain surgery. But my sweet sister noticed that whenever I was afraid or in pain or starting to worry, I would start making a gratitude list. And I would, let me look at your list. I would be reaching out to other people. I would listen to encouraging things. I would visualize, like when I went in for the big surgery, I pictured myself 6 months from that date in Hawaii, which, yes, 6 months later, I was there. So, what I'm wanting to connect the dots for people is that these are habits that are going to serve us in ways we don't even know today, right? That our businesses can get better, our relationships can get better, but also we we can make it through challenges so much easier when we intentionally develop those habits. Would you agree with that?
1000%. And actually, when I look back at my life, um, I came from a very difficult childhood. I have a lot of addiction and a lot of domestic violence and just a lot of things that were very heavy. And I noticed that, and a lot of people that come from that atmosphere, they are already in a negative place, right? They're
Mhm.
already in a negative mindset. So that's why sometimes it
Understandably.
snowballs. Yep. And it continues throughout their life. But I noticed that when I said to myself one day, nope, that's not going to be you. You're
Mm.
going to change. You're going to be the thread that is going to, you're going to be the change. You're going to be the person who's like, nope, I'm going to have a amazing life and I'm going to change the way my family is. And I did that. And when I look back at where I started to where I am today, it is an absolute dream. And that's why I tell people, like, look at the glow up. Even if it's photography, just look at the pictures you took last year. Always, look at where you came from. But if I didn't implement mindset practices, I I don't think I would be as far as I am today. And whenever I'm having a hard time, whenever I'm going through difficult things, I have to recenter myself. I have to say, okay, what tools do I have? A couple of years ago, when I decided to do the retreats, um, I was just really experiencing burnout. And so I did this yoga teacher training and I learned so much about myself. And that's really was a catalyst to want to give this in an even deeper level to my students. I'm like, man, I already grew, but this is like such a deep, profound, breathing techniques and really sitting in meditation, allowing myself to let these thoughts come and go and just sit with them and just allow them to be there and just say, okay, what is this telling me without reacting. So yes, you are 1000% correct that they are a cushion and they are a foundation and they are so important to have these habits in your life. They will take you far, not just in your business, in everything that you do, your relationships, your personal happiness, like anything that you can imagine. If you start to implement those tools, good things are going to happen for you. I mean, there it's just and think about how beautiful your story is, right? Visualizing yourself in Hawaii when you're getting brain surgery. That is incredible, right? Like, but that is really just a testament to how powerful mindset is.
Right.
Like a lot of people that are going through really deep things can get through that by that positivity, by what we've discussed today, which is writing that gratitude list. And, I find that those, when we stay in that negative space, it's just like carrying, a bricks with you, like you're carrying these bricks with you everywhere you go, and they just get heavier and heavier and
Right.
heavier and heavier. They just weigh you down. So releasing that helps us.
Yes. So we're almost out of time. There's two things I wanted to add to the list. One that you just shared. Let's see if I can remember it now because I was so intent in listening to the beautiful things. Oh, you were saying. So number seven, I would say meditation is what I'm hearing is a huge practice to help us with mindfulness. And my
Yes.
number eight on that list is remembering that it is a benevolent world that wants the best for us. And there's some magic that happens when we, like in my case, when I pictured the trip to Hawaii, but also with that whole journey that I had, there was like coincidences and miracles that happened over and over and over again. That life is, to me, not a dangerous place. There's a lot of things to be careful of. There we don't have tigers chasing us, thankfully, but that there's some force that wants our good, and so uh, I guess that what I would frame it is trust is also important because
Yes.
things are on our side. Thoughts on that?
1000%. And I really think that it was really funny that you said that because I actually had a poem that I wanted to end with. Talk
Hmm.
about coincidence. Just
Okay.
lined it up for me. Thank
Okay.
you so
So
much.
let's hold that poem for one sec.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I know that you have a really huge free drawing, and then also a
Hmm.
gift for everyone that enters the drawing wins something for my listeners. So, what is the drawing, and then what is the gift?
Sure. So if anyone that is listening signs up now or forever. For my newsletter, you will get our Legacy Black and White preset pack. And then we're also, which is limited from the time that this airs, for 2 weeks, we're going to be having a drawing. If you sign up for my newsletter, and you can go to brilliancekey.com, you could be entered to win a free seat at any upcoming retreat. And
That's
we
huge.
have some, all of our, yeah, all of our retreats also, I did want to say they're all top educators. So Lindsay Adler, Kate Scaglione, Pratik Naik, Billa, they're really amazing, um, brilliant minds in our industry. So that is definitely something to take note, and definitely worth entering.
Yes. So, so to get on the newsletter, it's brilliantkey.com.
Brilliancekey.com.
I'm sorry.
And actually, if you go
Spell that?
brilliant,
Yeah.
Brilliance, and then the key, like a key to your house.
Okay.
K-E.
And is there your own personal website, and is there a way to get in touch with you directly with email?
There's a contact form, if anyone wanted to contact me, but there's a whole bunch of stuff on that website in terms of one-on-one coaching and portfolio reviews and all kinds of different things, services that I provide. But if you actually go to the retreat section, um, it'll say Brilliance Key Retreats. Click on that, and that's where you'll find the submission form to
Okay,
enter to win the seat.
great. And Jessica McKnight is .com is your photography website if they want to check out your
That's
beautiful work.
correct. I'm sorry. Did I miss that? Yes,
Yeah,
JessicaMcKnight.com. I apologize.
it's all right. Okay. So I always ask someone's parting thoughts, or if there's something that they've not brought up, that they'd be like, oh man, I wish I'd have shared that. So I think that poem would be the perfect answer to my question. Yes?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I did want to mention one more thing, and that, a lot of I struggled very much with meditation. I've gotten better at it. But meditation does not have to be just like sitting on a rug and
Mm-mm.
closing your eyes for an hour. You can meditate when you walk. You can meditate when you ride a bike. You can meditate when you take a bath. Just it's just about being in the moment and sitting with your thoughts and just listening.
Mhm.
Listening to yourself and just being okay, and not trying to analyze things, just being in that moment. And that practice gets easier as you
Right,
go.
right. Thich
It's
Nhat
wonderful.
Hanh,
I will
as a
go ahead.
Thich Nhat Hanh, um, he has a beautiful little book that has different forms of meditation, like walking meditations and just simple things. I breathe out and I think this thought, I bring in, I breathe in, I think another thought. So yeah, there's a wealth of people that to me is a good starter point. His it's a book's been around at least 15 years. But okay, so I am ready. I'm
I
gonna
love that.
get all settled and receive.
Yeah, this is actually two simple paragraphs, and it actually came in again today in my email, and it
Love
just
it.
kind of touches on what we're talking about. It says, this is by Rumi. When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of distress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me without pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me. It
Mm.
is looking for me and attracting me. There is great secret in anyone who can grasp this. And I just think that's so cool.
I love
Very
it.
cool.
I love it. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation and for saying yes. And I look forward to future connections with you and hearing from my audience about what what benefits they have from listening to you share your wisdom. Remember, everyone, to stay tuned. I'll do a little quick wrap up. But again, Jessica, thank you so, 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 so much.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. My heart is so full with gratitude, and I appreciate you and everyone who is listening. Thank you again so much.
Oh my gosh. So here I am. alone again, naturally. And I just loved our conversation. I haven't had anyone on for a little while that specifically dug into the value and the how-to of the mindfulness of, the inner game of success in life, not just photography. And I just love, love, love Jessica. I wish she lived next door. So, just a couple of quick little wrap up things. Um, I asked her to define mindfulness or mindset. And she said the mindset is a set of beliefs and attitudes in how you see yourself. And mindfulness is the act of being in the moment. We talked about how chasing success and overworking can make us tired and grumpy, and the importance of releasing. So her list is number one of the how to develop the mindfulness. Start the day listing our gratitude. And we could just say them out loud. We could say them while we're showering. We could type them into our notes program in on our phone rather than checking Facebook and all the crazy things going on out there. Number two, setting intentions. So picturing how we want the day to go, how we want the week to go, how we want a session to go. She said the mind is like a muscle, and so the more we exercise what serves us in a positive way, the easier it is to do it over and over again. Number three is visualizing. I love that. Four is filling our minds, our ears, our views with encouragement, with things that uplift us, that raise our energy. Five was having a community, creating a community, or joining a community that helps us know the possibilities and supports us. Um, she and I talked about me being a guest at one of her retreats. I'm so excited because I'd love to know more about her community that she's been cultivating. Number five is giving yourself, no, six, having fun, physical fun, hikes, breaks, taking care of yourself, like being, having pleasure, having creative things, doing things that aren't work, um, or housework or things like that. And then we talked about the power of meditation. And then I included number eight, which is developing the awareness that there's something I'm just going to call the universe, but you can call it what you want, that really is on our side, that wants the best for us. And the more we have the mindset and the mindfulness for this, the more space there is for those gifts to come our way, the more clarity it is on where to look for those wonderful things we want to come our way. So let's see. Be sure to get in touch with Jessica through her website to apply for that free spot in one of her workshops and subscribe and know that I I really care about your success, and I'm hoping that today has opened some new things or reminded you of things you already knew so that the life you deserve to lead just continues to be better and better and better every day. All right, that's it for now.